If my marriage was on the rocks and I was losing it tomorrow, here's the things that I would do. I wouldn't start with date nights. I wouldn't start with trying to fix the communication right away. I wouldn't start with even counseling. A lot of times we think that if we can fix the problems in our partner, our marriage can get a whole lot better. And I've made some of these mistakes. And today I'm going to talk about some of the things that I have done, continue to try to do to make sure my marriage is strong, because I believe at the top of the funnel is me as a person, and it's my marriage second, fatherhood third, and it's how I create a living and support and secure my family fourth, in that order. So some of the things that I would do during times of marriage that I would struggle in, I would focus outward. So I would focus on the problem externally to my partner, my wife. So if we were having a problem, or not even we, maybe it was me, but now we are struggling because I'm struggling, I would start looking how they could do better, how they could understand me better, how they could know what I need in the time that I need. And that didn't help. If anything, it put more pressure on the marriage, the relationship, because my wife didn't even know that there would be a problem. And now all of a sudden she has to fix this problem she was unaware of. And that didn't work. So some of the things that I believe do work are focusing more inward. Attitude reflects leadership. So what are some of the things that I have done and continue to do to reflect inward for the betterment of the marriage? Okay, one, respect. If you want it, you got to give it, and give it genuinely. Respect doesn't just mean compliments. It could be respect somebody else's space, could be respect their time, could be respect that right now is not the right time. Giving respect is something that will help get a marriage on track. Another thing that has helped me is consistency. Can she rely on what I say, my word? If I say I'm going to do something, does she have to think if I'm going to do it or not? That creates doubt. Doubt creates uncertainty, and that starts creating issues in the marriage. So are there ways that I can be and show up and be more consistent in the marriage? That creates confidence from my wife, from my partner, into the marriage. But another way, if I needed to restart my marriage, would be communication. So in another video, which I appreciate you guys reaching out, but in another video, a lot of guys had reached out and said, yeah, I'm suffering in silence, which, chill out, man, don't be too dramatic, but the suffering in silence thing, it's not necessary if you have the right person and you can communicate. And again, all this is based on you having the right person, right? If you don't have the right person, none of this is going to work. And assuming you're married, you believe you have the right person. So moving on. Communication isn't to criticize the other person. It isn't to point out what they are doing wrong. For me, communication is just letting my wife know where I'm at right now. It's not to ask her or suggest her to change anything. I'm just letting her know where I'm at right now. Not to put pressure on the situation, but if she doesn't know where I'm at, how can I expect her to meet me where I'm at? Okay, so we have respect, we have consistency, and we have communication. Being completely transparent with you, for me to expect my wife to look at me or have any understanding of who I am or what my needs are. I needed to stop asking her to look at her. How can she look at me if I keep having her look at her and what she may or may not be doing right? So, biggest way to kill chemistry is critique, right? The thing about criticism, when somebody tells you something about yourself, it's like, yeah, I already know that. Thanks for, thanks, Captain Obvious. Thanks for mentioning that, making me feel even more shitty about it. We know all of our things. I don't know. It's like we have mirrors, right? Or we know that, like, right now, maybe I'm not feeling the best about how I'm talking in this video. I know that. A comment from you isn't going to help me in that situation. It's just going to take more practice. So, critique in a relationship is a killer. I believe on the other side of critique is support. So, I've been guilty of criticism, but that criticism is stemmed or rooted in, hey, this is how I want you to see me. And the expectation of trying to get my wife to see me while making her look at herself is completely backwards. So again, this video is about if my marriage was, if I was losing it and tomorrow I had to make changes, these are the changes that I would make. I would look inward rather than outward. Then start focusing on making strides myself personally. What attracts women, especially, we're married 18 years. So what would my wife be attracted to now? Okay. Physical aspect, that's like top layer. But again, I've talked about that in another video. We want that. And both of us try to do our best to make sure that that is still a factor. But again, it's not the thing that's going to get us from 18 years to 19 years. What are the things 18-year marriage can still have attractiveness in it? Okay, confidence in your partner. If my wife isn't confident in me, if she's not confident that if I say something I'm going to do it, that attraction is going to get lost. If I'm not supportive of her and I continue to critique her, she's going to pull away because who wants that criticism, right? So, and the same applies on the other side. As men, we would like these things, but as leaders of our families, we need to show them, not them as the wife, but like we need to show these characteristics to be able to introduce them to our homes. The man is the father, the husband is the tone setter of the house. They're the leader. Women are the most powerful creatures in the world, most beautiful creatures in the world, but the man has to be the tone setter, the leader. That's with the marriage. So if you're sitting on your ass waiting for your wife to set the tone in your marriage, you're gonna become quite frustrated, and that's what leads to all this suffering in silence nonsense. You don't have to suffer in silence. You are a part of the marriage. So it doesn't mean you need to be super bold or aggressive in a situation, but set the tone and set the tone with positivity. So again, just to recap, we are at respect, consistency, and communication. Those are the things that I would work on, and then I would be working on myself. Complete inward dive, working on listening more than speaking. So I think one of the things that a grown woman would be most attracted to and would turn them on the most is being heard. My wife has told me times, you're not hearing me. And in the marriage sense, maybe I wasn't. And I've had to work on just letting the communication flow and not trying to put a solution in everywhere where I saw there was a problem. I don't need to insert a solution. And these are some of the things that I've had to do because I want my marriage to work and I love what we've been able to build, but it's not always easy, and it continues to take some adjusting. And are you willing to do the adjusting? Or you're going to quit and you're going to sit there in that chair, not say anything because she's going to have a problem with anything that you say. She has a problem with what you say because she doesn't believe in what you're saying, because you haven't been consistent and you haven't shown that your words have the consistency that she can believe in. So if she's flying off the handle on everything that you say, it's time to work on yourself. And again, the biggest killer in marriage, I believe, is critique. Lifting each other up, being positive, complimenting each other, supporting each other. That's the quickest way to build connection. So definitely work on support and leave the critique out of the equation. And I'm not speaking to any of this stuff as an expert. I'm just letting you know from 18 years of marriage what's worked for me. And shit, I got a list of things that haven't worked for me. So if you're newly married or been married as long as I have, let me know if some of these things work for you. And hopefully some of these things could help you guys. All right, I'm going in to start the day.